something is changing in how the Chargers plan to protect, move, and finally unleash this offense. This is no distant promise. We are seeing real adjustments, a suddenly urgent position battle, an intriguing available veteran, and a return that lets this fan base breathe. Bolt fam, get ready. Today we are measuring whether Los Angeles is building a line that can turn Justin Herbert's talent into control, explosiveness, and big wins. If you demand that leap, subscribe. Every story pushes the same question. Is the plan getting stronger or only riskier? Start with the technical detail that could change the heart of this offense. Joe Alt is stepping into a system built around what he does best. Mike McDaniel does not want an offensive line shoving everything up the middle as if every run has only one possible path. The outside zone game demands movement, vision, and power on the move. It demands tackles who can set the edge and give the running back a real choice. Alt could be the player who makes that entire map wider. That is exciting because he has already played at an elite level without being used this way. During his first 2 seasons, he worked in Greg Roman's running game, which leaned on gap blocking and attacks between the tackles. Even there, Alt showed light feet, discipline, and controlled violence without tearing plays apart with penalties. Now, instead of making his athleticism fit the scheme, we may get to watch the scheme chase everything his athleticism can offer. The numbers give that feeling real weight. Alt earned a 79.4 pass blocking grade from PFF as a rookie, then raised it to 82.3 in his second season. Even though he appeared in only 6 games in 2025, he still made the Pro Bowl. At the Combine, a 94 athleticism score, a 5.05 second 40, and a 9-foot 4-inch broad jump had already revealed that rare physical combination. Lance Zierlein also highlighted his ability to reach the second level. This is where a fan's imagination starts moving faster. In an outside zone system, Alt does not have to simply beat the defender lined up across from him. He can shift the defense, build the edge, and force linebackers to make their decisions early. Once the running game creates that hesitation, Herbert gets cleaner play-action windows and more room to attack after the catch, exactly where McDaniel's offense usually creates pain. Alt already belongs in the conversation among the 8 or 10 best tackles in the league when he is available. Projecting him into the top 5 is not empty praise. It comes from the fit between his tools and his assignment. The exciting part is not asking him to become a different player. It is realizing Los Angeles may have changed the design so Joe Alt can become even more of himself. With health and timing, a player who already looks dominant could become the engine that allows this entire offense to breathe differently. The excitement around that new design runs into a question no scheme can avoid. Who holds the interior together after the loss of Tyler Biadasz? Jake Slaughter is ready to take over at center, but believing in a rookie and protecting the roster responsibly are not opposing ideas. The Chargers can invest in his growth while placing real experience within Jim Harbaugh's reach. One available veteran has a career that almost looks built for this exact moment. But Bolt fam, here is where the story gets interesting. Graham Glasgow brings the answers that disappeared when Biadasz went down. Experience at center, depth at both guard spots, a real history with Harbaugh. This is a 6'6", roughly 315-pound veteran heading into his 11th season. He has appeared in 147 regular season games and started 136, meaning he has started more than 92% of every NFL game he has played. Glasgow would not arrive to calm down the headlines. He would arrive as football insurance. He has played center, right guard, and left guard. He has recognized blitzes, handled stunts, and lived through playoff environments. In 2023, Glasgow earned a 75.1 overall grade from PFF, 8th best among NFL guards. His 82.1 run blocking grade ranked 5th at the position. That season, he helped Detroit win the NFC North and reach the conference championship game. The workload kept coming after that. In 2024, Glasgow played 16 games and started all 16. In 2025, at 33 years old, he started 14 games and logged 873 offensive snaps. He gave up 19 pressures, allowed only 1 sack, and committed 2 penalties. For a line learning new assignments with a rookie handling the calls, that kind of discipline would carry immediate value. There is also a connection that keeps this possibility from feeling random. Glasgow played at Michigan under Harbaugh. During his final college season, he started all 13 games at center, earned honorable mention All Big Ten recognition, and received the award given to Michigan's top offensive lineman. Harbaugh already knows his temperament, physical style, and leadership. He would not have to wait until September to learn how Glasgow responds to pressure. None of this means handing him Slaughter's job before the rookie gets a chance to earn it. Glasgow's best use may be preventing every young player mistake from becoming an emergency. He could give the Chargers coverage at center, an option at both guard positions, and an immediate response if another injury hits the interior. No trade, no draft pick going out the door. The decision would come down to the contract, his physical condition, and his fit in this offense. It is impossible to look at Herbert and accept a margin this thin. Glasgow would not erase every risk or guarantee that the line works immediately. He could, however, let the Chargers develop Slater without wagering the entire season on the hope that nothing else goes wrong. In the AFC, this could be the kind of unglamorous signing that only gets applause when it saves a game, or stops the whole year from slipping away through the middle of the pocket. Now the roster has an uncomfortable issue to settle on the field. With Slater moving to center, the left guard spot is open again, and the competition is not offering a clean answer. Kayode Awo-Shika appears to be in front. Trey Pipkins III continues taking first-team reps. Branson Taylor has lost ground after an apparent upper body injury. The roster cutdown is approaching, but the line is still testing different combinations. Mike McDaniel indicated Awo-Shika is getting close to making the left guard job his to lose. That is not a coronation. It is simply the clearest picture we have right now. Awo-Shika has delivered good moments in camp and the preseason, and he has worked with the starting unit since the offseason program. During 4 years with the Lions, he started 11 games and spent 3 seasons in Ben Johnson's offense, where linemen alternate between zone and gap responsibilities. That background fits the flexibility McDaniel wants. Pipkins remains involved because the coaching staff wants answers before it shuts the door. He received first-team reps in 3 straight practices and played 705 snaps at right guard in 2024. We know his experience, and we also know the limitations he showed inside. Testing him makes sense. Treating that history as proof that he is the better solution would be a different conversation. Los Angeles has to choose the player who stabilizes the operation, not the most familiar name on the depth chart. Taylor could have expanded this competition, but the injury against the 49ers and 3 missed practices sharply reduced his window. Trevor Penning also failed to build a convincing case early in camp. Awo-Shika gained ground partly because the alternatives kept falling away. Staying upright, though, is not enough. He still has to earn the spot next to Slater when defenses begin attacking the communication between them. That is the piece carrying the most weight for me. The left guard will not be judged in isolation. He will line up beside a rookie center who was pushed into enormous responsibility after the Dish injury. The winner has to bring a firm base, fast communication, and real movement skills. If Awo-Shika is the favorite, it is time to reduce the rotation and build chemistry. Herbert cannot reach week 1 with 2 interior positions still introducing themselves to each other. After all that uncertainty in the middle, one image finally gave Chargers fans some relief. Rashawn Slater returned to Tuesday's practice, and he was not limited to individual work. Jim Harbaugh had announced that Slater would be a limited participant. The field delivered something more encouraging. According to ESPN's Chris Rim, Slater lined up with the starting offensive line in front of Herbert during 11-on-11 drills. Take a breath for a second. This return matters that much. Slater had missed most of the previous 2 weeks, and any absence involving a left tackle of this caliber creates concern. After Dish was lost for the season, another pillar going down was the scenario nobody wanted to face. That is why seeing Slater take team reps on his first practice back changes the temperature. Video also showed him firing out of his stance at full speed while working in front of Butch Barry. The responsible word is progress. Reports suggest Slater did more than the word limited would normally make us expect, but the next stretch of practices will tell us how his body responds. His return did not begin with a visible wall between him and the main offensive work. He stepped into the place where the Chargers most need to see him, protecting the blind side, coordinating with the rebuilt interior, and giving Herbert back a familiar reference point. When Slater and Alt are together, the size of the offensive problem changes. The coaching staff no longer has to search for help on both edges and can focus more of its adjustments inside. McDaniel gains the freedom to use formations, motion, and play action without designing every call like a rescue mission. It does not repair the loss of Dish or settle the left guard battle, but it reduces the number of fires this offense has to put out on the same play. Open the Bolt War Room in the comments and tell me which feeling this return gave you first. Relief? Confidence? Or the caution of a fan who still needs to see Slater stack full practices? This is not a vote on his talent. Nobody questions that. It is a snapshot of how this fan base is experiencing the moment after so many scares along the offensive line. The design is coming into view. The scheme could unleash Alt. Glasgow offers possible veteran security. Awo-Shika is trying to lock down the most unstable position. Slater puts a star back into the structure. One story does not solve the next. Together, though, they show that the Chargers' offensive season will depend less on one savior and more on the connection between several correct decisions. Slater's return is the first deep breath. Now Los Angeles has to turn that relief into consistency, health, and control when the football finally counts. The Chargers' offensive line no longer looks like only a problem. It looks like a construction with real paths forward. Alt could explode in a system that values his feet. Glasgow deserves consideration as veteran protection. Wo Shika must turn an advantage into security, and Slater restored the relief this fan base needed. The potential is there. The demand is making every piece work together. Bolt fam, I need your opinion on this one. From 0 to 10, how much confidence does this line give you right now? Drop your score. If you agree every decision matters, subscribe to Los Angeles Chargers News today and follow the moves that could change Herbert's season.